Have you ever found yourself weirdly hooked by a daily horoscope? Even if you're a total skeptic? What is it about them? What's that secret sauce that makes them so compelling? Well, today, we're not going to predict your future. Instead, we are going to pull back the curtain and deconstruct the powerful formula behind a show like Kismet to show you the psychological tricks that keep you coming back for more. So here's how we're going to break this down. First up, we'll look at how the show grabs your attention right out of the gate with its celestial hook. Then we're going to decode the cosmic setup they use to sound like they know what they're talking about. After that, we'll dive into the main event, those super fast personal forecasts. We'll also figure out the real purpose of the spiritual tool they offer. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together to build a dedicated community. Okay, so it all starts in those first few seconds, right? A great horoscope show doesn't just begin, it grabs you. Let's take a look at exactly how they build the perfect hook so you don't even think about scrolling away. The show opens with this very specific line. It's not just some generic, "Hello, everybody." Nope. By targeting people who do mental work or are in business, it immediately creates a little club. And if you think, "Hey, that's me," you instantly feel like this message is just for you. It's a classic persuasion trick, and it works like a charm. So you see, this intro isn't just a greeting. It's a perfectly engineered 4-part trap for your attention. First, it creates urgency with a specific date. Then, it flatters a target audience, making you feel special. It sparks your curiosity with a question. And the kicker? It promises a unique solution at the very end, creating this open loop in your brain that makes you just have to stick around to see what it is. Okay, so they've got you hooked. But how do they keep you listening? Well, the next step is absolutely crucial. They have to establish credibility. So let's decode this cosmic setup they use to make their predictions sound, well, authoritative. So to build that authority, the host doesn't just invent things out of thin air. They reference something called the Panchang. Now, as you can see, this is a real ancient Hindu astrological calendar. Just by dropping a word with so much history and weight, the host immediately makes their forecast feel more important. It's no longer just some person's opinion. It sounds like it's based on an ancient, complex science. And then, bam, they layer on all this complexity. I mean, look at these cosmic details, specific lunar phases, planetary positions, nakshatra alignments. Let's be honest, you're not expected to know what Shukla Paksha Dashami actually means. The goal here isn't to educate you, it's to kind of overwhelm you. This flood of jargon makes the host sound like a total expert, with access to secret knowledge, which makes you more likely to believe what they say next. So what's the key takeaway here? All this complicated jargon serves one simple purpose. It builds a foundation of trust. It turns what is basically fortune-telling into something that feels like a data-driven analysis. It's all a setup for the main event. All right, now for the part everyone is actually here for. Let's get into the main event and break down the structure of those personal zodiac by zodiac forecasts. Now look at the mix on this slide. This is really clever. We've got some positive predictions, right? Like financial gain for Taurus. But then you get cautionary stuff like a warning about expenses for Cancer. This is not an accident. You see, a forecast that's all good news just feels fake. By mixing in the positive and the negative across different parts of life, the whole thing feels way more balanced, more plausible, more real. And the pacing here is absolutely key. Each sign gets just 20 seconds in the spotlight. It's just boom, next sign, boom, next sign. This rapid-fire delivery is designed to keep you totally locked in, waiting for your turn. It's way too fast to get bored, and it builds this constant feeling of anticipation. You literally can't look away. And here it is. This is the psychological masterstroke, what we call the art of the vague specific. This is a textbook example of the Barnum effect. A statement like, "Your boss will praise you," feels incredibly personal if it happens to you. But at the same time, a warning to "feel a bit rushed" is so general it could apply to pretty much anyone's day. They're designed to be just specific enough to feel personal, but vague enough to be true for almost everybody. It's brilliant. So you've just been told your fate for the day, good or bad. Now what? You're just supposed to sit with that? Well, this is where the show makes a really clever pivot by giving you a tool to feel like you're back in control. This question right here perfectly frames the transition. It takes you from being just a passive listener, someone being told their fate, to someone who's actively looking for a way to influence it. It taps right into that natural, okay, so what's next feeling that any forecast is going to create. And here's the solution they offer. A simple, structured ritual called a Wazifa. Notice how it's broken down into 3 easy steps. This isn't some super complex spiritual practice. It's a clear, actionable recipe that pretty much anyone can follow to feel like they are improving their chances for the day. And this is the most important part, really. The Wazifa isn't just a prayer. It's a tool of empowerment. It gives you, the viewer, a sense of agency. So whether your forecast was good or bad, you now have something you can actually do about it. This shifts you from being a passive recipient of your destiny to an active participant in your own life. And that is an incredibly powerful feeling. Finally, the video doesn't just end. It doesn't just fade to black. No, it transitions you into becoming part of a community. Let's analyze how the outro is carefully designed to build loyalty and make sure you come back tomorrow. So the video doesn't just trail off, it ends with 3 very specific, very low-effort commands, as you can see here. Comment a keyword, state your sign, share the video. These aren't just polite suggestions. They are simple, direct instructions designed to be as easy as possible to follow, which maximizes the chances that you'll actually do that. So why do they do this? Well, it's actually a twofold strategy, and it's kind of genius. First, it transforms what was a private, solitary viewing experience into a public ritual. When you comment with your sign, you see hundreds of other Leos or Virgos doing the exact same thing, and that creates a really powerful sense of community. And second, on a more practical level, all those comments and shares signal to the platform's algorithm that this is really popular content, pushing it out to even more people. So as we wrap this up, it becomes pretty clear that the power of this format isn't really about predicting the future, is it? It's about a masterfully engineered formula. It's a formula that creates a daily ritual by giving you a sense of authority, a dose of personalization, a feeling of empowerment, and most importantly, a connection. The real product here isn't the forecast. It's the feeling of belonging to a community that gets you.